So I would like to explain, and I would like to show you the other two, three options we have in the Active Directory. Okay. The same fashion now, I have logged into my domain controller, which is DC01. You see, this is my DC01, and my server manager console is opened here. I'll quickly go to tools and open and see what all other things are there. If you look at here, we normally or predominantly use the Active Directory users and computers. Correct, na? Because Active Directory users and computer wizard will be used max. Because if you want to create an organization or if you want to create an user or computer object, blah blah blah. Correct, right? Anything and everything that we do in the Active Directory, that is by using the users and computer wizard, and that is very very crucial, and you should know. If somebody asks you how will you create an Active Directory users, you have to tell I will log into the domain controller, or they may ask you, do you have access to domain controller? You can tell no, we don't have access to the domain controller, but the Active Directory console is installed in my jump server. Okay, in my jump server I have this Active Directory wizard installed because we have installed the RSAT remote server administrative tool they have installed. If I go there, I can go to tools and I can open the Active Directory users and computer, and I'll go to the relevant OU, the organization unit, stating that the user is there in India or in Bangalore. In Bangalore, which department? If he's in IT department, I'll just go to the IT department OU, right click, and I can just create a new user. Correct na? That is how I will create the user, and once the user account is created, I will share the password information over the message. They may ask you how you will send a message. We have a tool called, we have a two separate tool to communicate to the customer, to share the password and all. Soon after we create a user or reset the password, we will share the that information over the message. We will not send via uh, what is that, email. Even if we send via chat, we will send it in Teams, and once the user notes the password, we will delete it, and the user will, they have to change the password because we will force to change the password at the first logon. That's all. No other questions will come to you. Okay, that is about the Active Directory users and computer. You already know very well about it. Now if you look at here, you have one more option called Active Directory sites and services. If you go to Active Directory sites and services, a console will be opened. Okay, it will take a while. Yeah. So what is the relevance of this Active Directory sites and services? So all these days, okay, we were talking only about the Active Directory users and computers, Active Directory domain controller, additional domain controller, and child domain controller, and everything was in the same subnet. So imagine in the real-time office, nothing will be in the same subnet or same site. Okay, so you can see here you have subnets and you have sites here, and in the sites you have servers. If you see here, I if you remember, I told you na, while I was creating the CDC and the DC0 and the DC02, I always used to select the default first site. Means if there is no multiple locations or multiple offices, if you have only one office, that means you have only one site. Correct na? So that time you don't have any problem. But when you have multiple sites na, multiple sites, multiple location, you have to define to which site my this current domain controller will be deployed. So say for example, you will right click on this. Actually, one second, you go to sites, new site. Okay, you'll go to site and use new site. You'll just create a new site called uh, Google Hyderabad. Okay, Google Hyderabad, and I'm going to link that. See, that is what I told you. Now you are creating in Hyderabad Google site for Hyderabad, and you are linking that with the default first site. Means that you are telling that you both Bangalore and Hyderabad locations should be in sync. Okay, so if I say okay, my new site will be created. See here, my new site got created here. Okay, and each and every site will have their own subnets. See here, if you go here, you can create subnet, new subnet, and say for example the subnet value is 172.16.1.0/24. See, this is my subnet value for Hyderabad. So when I select Hyderabad and create, see the subnet is associated with the Hyderabad location. You can go to properties and you can see the site is belongs to is Hyderabad. You can mention this is for HYD AD communication. Okay, that is just description. Okay, this is how you will have the sites and subnets created. When you install the domain controller, okay, it will create an it will additional domain controller. It will ask a question, which site you want to deploy. If it is for Hyderabad, you have to select this Hyderabad site. So when you select this to Hyderabad site, okay, that newly building server will just come and sit in this Hyderabad OU. That means anybody from the Hyderabad location is now trying to put the username and password, right? So that will just directly go to the Hyderabad domain controller and not the Bangalore domain controller. That is the importance of creating the Active Directory sites and services. Clear? And two things here, this IP and SMTP communication is there. Means if the communication between the two domain controller, okay, should happen, means either it should go via IP transfer or it should go via SMTP transfer. So IP transfer is very accurate. We normally use IP transport only, and SMTP is like it uses the network, so very less latency. Okay, so predominantly uses IP. If somebody asked you how the traffic gets replicated between two domain controllers in the Active Directory environment, you should tell there are two types of transports are there: IP transports and SMTP transports. IP transport is the very accurate one and it is a quicker one. So normally we use IP transport only. SMTP is the old one, it's a legacy. Okay, and subnets will help you to understand which subnet is belongs to which location or which site, and site represents which site this domain controller is belong to, and these sites are very important to establish the network topology or the replication topology. That's all. So that is about the Active Directory sites and services. Okay, and one more option is there, the domains and trust. Okay, so while I was explaining the Active Directory users and domains and trust, correct na? Active Directory, while I was doing the Active Directory class, I was talking about the domains and trust. So if you want to create that trust between two different companies, okay, not this one, which one I opened? I opened again same thing, I guess. Now I'm opening the domains and trust. Yes. See now, if you double click on this google.com, right? We have, this is a child domain. Okay, let me change this to child to it is correct here. So if you go to properties now, so if you go to trust right here, if you go to trust here, it says search.google.com is my child domain, type is transitive, and if you see the search child is yes, correct. That means it has got connection with only one domain, which is the child domain. Since this search is the child of Google, it has got two-way transitive, two-way transitive relationship. Okay, trust relationship. Okay, so what is this trust? How do you create trust? If you just click on this new trust, okay, it will give you options. See, what is the trust name? If you want to say, for example, Google to Insta. Okay, if you want to establish a connection between Google to Extra, okay, Instagram, you can just select what types of trust you want. You want the realm trust. You see, if the server is not a Windows Active Directory domain controller, you can create a trust to an interoperable Kerberos V5. Means if you have same Active Directory, Microsoft Active Directory, and between two Microsoft domain controller, you can create the normal trust. If it is not the Windows, maybe it is a any other like Linux or any other I mean authentication protocols, right? That time you have to put the realm. So if you see here, trust with a Windows domain controller, you can just select that and say next, and you finish. Okay, so let me open this. You know, right, how to create the, I mean, how why do we create the trust means to establish the interaction or the connection between two different forests. Say for example, today Google is there. Google acquires Facebook, but Facebook users are also now the Google's user only, correct, right? Facebook users are also the Google's, I mean, Google's users are also both are same actually. Both Google and Facebook are same company. So Google think that all the Facebook users are now my users, and whatever user want to access my application, I should be able to trust them. So what they will do, they'll keep the google.com and they will keep the facebook.com. What they will do, they will just come and create the trust here. Anybody or any communication or transactions comes from the Facebook range of addresses, allow them. So similarly, they'll create a trust by in the facebook.com, stating that anybody there coming from Google, please allow them. So there is a true way transitive relationship. Means two way means transitive means I am trusting you and you are trusting me the same way. This is called as transitive. Okay, so for you, no, they will not ask you to create all these things actually, but you should know when somebody talk about Active Directory or when somebody talks about no, trust, you should know what about what they are talking to. Okay, so that's all about the Active Directory. The other options as well. I have covered domains and trust. I have covered sites and services. I have covered users and computers. Okay, and this administrative center is there. If you want to do bulk operations, say for example, you want to copy the group names in one user. Okay, uh, all the available group names. If you don't want to use any script, actually, you can just come here. Say for example, PC administrator. Um, Let me search Manju. Sorry, Manju. If I search, see Manju came. So I can open Manju here. Okay, means the same whatever operations you can do it in the Active Directory users and computer, that can be done here also. If you want to disable, if you want to add groups, if you want to reset password, if you want to move everything, but we will normally less use this one. Okay, we normally go there because there it gives me the visibility of what is the OU, sub OU, all those things, but here it won't be. Okay, the same thing I told you. So normally what happens, some people they don't allow the login to Active Directory. It's okay, they will ask them to know allow here the Active Directory Administrative Center, so that they can only search the required groups and users and they can make the changes. Okay, just to restrict the visibility for all that OUs and stuff. Okay, so imagine a user is there, he don't know anything, he only know how to reset password, add memberships, all those things. If you give access to him to the Active Directory here, okay, so what happens, he will have all the unwanted or unnecessary have access to everything. He can see what is computer is here, he can see which OUs are there, which users are there, correct na? So unwanted things are there. Okay, that is why to avoid that, we normally not give access there. People should go to the administrative center and perform the things. So that's all about the other Active Directory modules and the functionality of it. So I will stop the recording here because I'm going to start a new topic called DNS. So I should upload that as a different video. So I'm stopping it now.